A steamy riverside rendezvous. It all started with this married woman I've been seeing on the down low for months now. She's a knockout, probably pushing 40, but she looks like she could pass for 30, with a body sculpted from endless yoga sessions and those high-end spa treatments her wealthy lifestyle affords. Her husband's some big shot executive, and they live in this sprawling waterfront mansion down by the river, complete with a massive 38-foot luxury yacht that's basically their floating palace. We hook up every few weeks, usually when she can sneak away from him under some flimsy excuse. Once a month feels like torture. I crave more, but she plays it safe to keep the marriage intact. Still, those stolen moments are electric, raw, passionate, and always leaving me wanting seconds. This particular escapade unfolded just a couple of days before the 4th of July fireworks lit up the sky. She texted me that morning, all bubbly about their big river outing, a private event with friends, champagne on ice, the works. But midway through the cruise, disaster struck. One of the twin engines on their yacht sputtered and died without warning. Her husband, let's call him Mark for the sake of the story, tinkered with it like he knew what he was doing, flipping switches, checking wires, but the damn thing wouldn't cooperate. With only one engine humming, they were dead in the water, too far from home to turn back, and not close enough to their destination to push on. Panic set in as they limped toward the nearest marina, docking awkwardly against the weathered piers lined with fishing boats and speedsters. Stranded and out of options, Mark didn't have a go-to mechanic on speed dial. His reliable contacts were all weekend warriors who wouldn't touch a yacht like theirs. That's when she thought of me. Her message hit my phone like a lifeline. Frantic emojis, a quick rundown of the breakdown, and that hesitant plea, "Can you come? Mark's clueless down there. Just play along. Tell him you're my co-worker's brother, the guy who fixes everything." I could sense her nerves. Bringing me into her married world was risky, especially with the secrets we shared. But hell, any excuse to see her was a win. I shot back, "On my way. But you owe me big time later, something extra steamy." She replied with a winking emoji, and I was out the door. I grabbed my toolkit from the truck, marine-grade battery, wrenches, multimeter, the essentials, and sped to the marina. The sun was beating down, turning the air thick and humid, the river lapping lazily against the docks. The yacht loomed like a sleek beast, 3 levels of opulence, from the open upper deck with its captain's chair and panoramic views, to the mid-level lounge with plush seating, a full galley kitchen, and a master suite below. But the real action was in the engine room, accessed via a narrow, creaky stairway that plunged into the bowels of the boat. It was a claustrophobic maze, tight crawl spaces, oily floorboards you had to pry up, and angles that'd make a contortionist sweat. Perfect for hiding or getting creative. Mark greeted me at the dock with a firm handshake and that forced smile of a man out of his depth. He was in his mid-40s, fit but soft around the edges from desk jobs and country club lunches, nothing like the rugged type who'd know his way around an engine. "Appreciate you coming out on short notice," he said, clapping me on the back. "She's vouched for you, says you're a miracle worker." I nodded, keeping it cool, and we headed below decks. She hovered nearby, looking every bit the river goddess in a skimpy bikini top and sarong, her sun-kissed skin glowing, dark hair tied back in a ponytail. Our eyes met for a split second, electric, loaded with that forbidden heat, and she bit her lip, mouthing thanks before busying herself with a magazine on the upper deck. Down in the dim, humming engine compartment, Mark and I got to work. Or rather, I directed while he fumbled. "Check the alternator connections first," I called out, my voice echoing off the metal walls. He grunted, sweat beading on his forehead as he wedged himself into the tight space beside the faulty engine. I positioned myself strategically on the midway step of the staircase, close enough to oversee him below, but with a clear line of sight up to where she lounged, pretending to sip a drink. The boat rocked gently with the current, the distant hum of other vessels mixing with the salty scent of the river. After about 30 minutes of this charade, Mark cursing at rusted bolts, me handing down tools, the tension was building, not just from the repair. I caught her eye again, nodding subtly toward the stairs. She froze, glancing at her husband, then at me. Hesitation flickered across her face, those wide green eyes, the flush creeping up her neck. But the pull was too strong. She set down her glass and descended quietly, her bare feet padding softly on the steps. "Need a hand down here?" she asked innocently, leaning over me as if to peer at the engine. That was my cue. With Mark's head buried in the machinery a few feet away, oblivious to the world, I reached up under her cover of the stair rail. My hand found the soft curve of her breast, cupping it through the thin bikini fabric. She gasped softly, a mix of shock and thrill, but didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned into it, her nipple hardening under my thumb as I teased it gently. The risk amped everything up, her husband's grunts echoing below, the boat's sway masking our shallow breaths. "What are you?" she whispered, but her body betrayed her, arching slightly. I squeezed firmer, rolling the peak between my fingers, and she stifled a moan, her free hand gripping the rail. After a tense minute, reality hit. She glanced down at Mark, then bolted back up, cheeks burning, smoothing her top like nothing happened. But that was just the appetizer. She couldn't stay away. Twice more she checked in, each visit bolder. The second time, she lingered, pressing closer as I fondled both breasts now, pinching until she was squirming, her breath hot against my ear. "You're insane," she murmured, but her eyes sparkled with that wicked hunger. The third descent. She was practically dripping with anticipation. I could see it in the way her thighs clenched. Mark, meanwhile, was making zero progress, wiping grease from his hands and muttering about calling a pro. Finally, he emerged, exhausted and defeated. "Let's take a break," he announced, climbing up to the deck for some air and a beer from the galley fridge. The coast was clear. I followed casually, stretching my legs, and once he was out of sight fiddling with the cooler, I cornered her at the helm. The upper deck was semi-private, shielded by the cabin walls from prying eyes on the marina. Heart pounding, I unzipped my shorts and pulled out my cock, already half hard from the teasing below. Her reaction was gold, eyes bulging, mouth agape in disbelief, but no scream, no retreat. Instead, she dropped to her knees behind the captain's chair, the river breeze cooling my skin as she wrapped her lips around me. It was quick, frantic, urgent. Her tongue swirled expertly, that warm, wet suction building me up in seconds. She only managed 30 seconds before pulling back, gasping, lips glistening, but it was enough. I was rock hard, throbbing, the thrill of exposure making it all the more intense. "God, you're going to get us caught," she whispered, wiping her mouth, but her grin said she loved it. "Time to escalate." I nodded toward the rear cabin, the master bedroom tucked away at the boat's stern, plush king bed, mirrored walls, total seclusion. "Go," I mouthed. She slipped inside without a word, leaving the door cracked. I waited a beat, then called down to Mark. "Hey, try the fuel line again, might be a clog." He grumbled an affirmative and dove back in. Perfect cover. I entered the cabin, the door clicking shut softly. She was bent over the edge of the bed, soul hiked up, bikini bottoms tugged aside just enough. No full play needed. She was soaked, ready. I positioned myself behind her, gripping her hips, and thrust in deep, filling her in one smooth motion. She bit the pillow to muffle her cry, her walls clenching around me like a vice. The boat's gentle rock set the rhythm. I drove into her steadily, one hand on her breast, the other steadying us against the wall. From the engine room, Mark's voice floated up. "It's not the fuel line, what now?" I paused mid-thrust, leaning toward the door. "Try turning the key, check the battery terminals." Then back to her, pounding harder, our skin slapping quietly. She was wild, pushing back against me, her breath ragged, body trembling. The risk fueled us. Every creak of the boat, every distant shout from the marina, heightening the edge. Her climax hit like a wave, tense, shuddering, a soft whimper escaping as she came undone around me. And that's when it happened. Almost on cue, The second engine coughed to life, bellowed X, roaring triumphantly. Mark whooped from the depths. Holy shit, it worked. You're a genius. I smirked, giving one final deep thrust before pulling out, both of us breathless and spent. She straightened up, adjusting her clothes with shaky hands, shooting me a dazed, satisfied look. You fixed it somehow, she whispered, half laughing. We emerged separately, me first, playing the hero. Mark clapped me on the back again, beaming. Couldn't have done it without you, man. Here $200, and beers on me next time. He pressed the bill into my hand, none the wiser. She stood there, flushed and glowing, avoiding my eyes but unable to hide the secret smile. As I waved goodbye from the dock, the yacht pulling away smoothly, I glanced down, my cock still slick with her, a tangible trophy of our brazen fuck. The river sparkled under the afternoon sun, and I drove home with a grin, already plotting how she'd make good on that extra she owed me. Life's too short for anything less than thrilling,